On March 15, 2025, President Trump took a drastic step. He invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. This law allows the president to deport citizens of enemy nations during times of war. Trump used this law to target members of the Tren de Aragua, or TDA gang. The Trump administration claims that TDA is operating on U.S. soil and poses a significant threat to national security. Using the Alien Enemies Act, Trump ordered the deportation of Venezuelan nationals suspected of being involved with TDA. The administration stated that these individuals, alleged to be gang members, were subject to immediate removal from the United States. The Department of Homeland Security was tasked with carrying out the deportations. This move quickly sparked controversy and legal challenges. This action ignited a firestorm of debate across the nation. Critics argue that the Alien Enemies Act, a relic of a bygone era, is not designed to address contemporary gang violence. They say its use sets a dangerous precedent, potentially undermining due process and civil liberties. The act's historical context, rooted in wartime powers, raises concerns about its application in a peacetime setting. The use of the Alien Enemies Act in this case has far-reaching implications. It raises questions about presidential power, immigration law, and the delicate balance between national security and individual rights. The outcome of this case could set a precedent for future administrations, potentially shaping the way the United States addresses gang violence and national security threats in the years to come. The Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is a powerful and dangerous criminal organization. Originating in Venezuela, TDA has spread its tentacles throughout South America and beyond. The gang is notorious for its brutal tactics and involvement in a wide range of criminal activities. These activities include drug trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, kidnapping, and murder. TDA's presence in the United States is a growing concern for law enforcement agencies. The gang's sophisticated network and ruthless methods pose a significant threat to public safety. TDA's activities within the U.S. have included drug trafficking, human smuggling, and violence against rival gangs. Law enforcement officials are working diligently to disrupt TDA's operations and bring its members to justice. The Trump administration has labeled TDA a significant national security threat. They argue that the gang's activities, particularly its alleged ties to Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, warrant the use of extraordinary measures. The administration claims that TDA is actively working to undermine U.S. interests in the region. They point to the gang's involvement in drug trafficking and other illicit activities as evidence of their threat to national security. The administration's decision to target TDA using the Alien Enemies Act highlights the complex challenges posed by transnational criminal organizations. These groups, operating across borders with sophisticated networks and brutal tactics, present a unique threat to national security and public safety. The case of TDA underscores the need for innovative and comprehensive strategies to combat these organizations and protect citizens from their harmful activities. The administration's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act was met with immediate legal challenges. Civil rights groups and legal experts argue that the act is being misused. They claim it was never intended for peacetime immigration enforcement. These groups contend that the act's historical context, rooted in wartime powers, makes it inappropriate for addressing contemporary gang violence. A federal judge quickly issued an injunction, temporarily halting the deportations. The judge ruled that the administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act in this case raised serious legal concerns. The judge's ruling highlighted the act's limited scope and its historical application to citizens of enemy nations during times of declared war. The judge's order provided a temporary reprieve for those targeted for deportation, but the legal battle is far from over. The Justice Department, under the direction of the Trump administration, is appealing the judge's injunction. They argue that the president has broad authority to protect national security, including the power to deport individuals deemed dangerous. The Justice Department's appeal argues that the Alien Enemies Act provides the president with the necessary authority to address the threat posed by TDA. They maintain that the gang's activities, particularly their alleged ties to the Venezuelan government, constitute a national security threat that justifies the use of the act. The case is widely expected to reach the Supreme Court, setting the stage for a landmark decision on presidential power and the scope of the Alien Enemies Act. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching implications for immigration law, national security, and the balance of power between the executive and judicial branches. The Supreme Court's decision will likely set a precedent for future administrations, shaping the way the United States addresses national security threats and the limits of presidential power in a rapidly changing world. The debate over the Alien Enemies Act is multifaceted and deeply rooted in the history of American law. Critics argue that the act, originally designed for a different era, is not suitable for modern-day challenges. They contend that its application to contemporary issues like gang violence could erode civil liberties and due process. On the other hand, proponents assert that the act provides necessary tools for addressing severe threats to national security. They believe that the president must have broad authority to protect the nation, especially in the face of transnational criminal organizations. The ongoing legal battles and public discourse surrounding the Alien Enemies Act highlight the complexities of balancing national security with individual rights. As the case progresses through the courts, the nation watches closely, aware that the outcome will have significant implications for the future of immigration law and presidential power. The debate over the Alien Enemies Act is far from over, and its resolution will undoubtedly shape the legal and political landscape for years to come.